from the hot air balloon capital of the world. This is Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO Energy, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. The 48th edition of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, presented by Canon, is happening now in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And now, live and direct from the rooftop studio at Balloon Fiesta Park, here are the hosts of Balloon Fiesta Live, Glen Moyer and Lloyd Jr.
And good evening from Balloon Fiesta Park for the 48th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, presented by Canon. I'm Lloyd Jr. My colleague Glen Moyer has the night off because we're going to have a little bit of an abbreviated show here tonight. If you tuned in this morning, or if you've been around Albuquerque, you know that there is a pretty strong cold front coming through the state right now, and it is bringing very gusty winds. You can see the flags over my shoulder, and of course our backdrop is not here because of the gustiness of those winds as well. The sustained winds here on the field are at least 20 miles per hour with gusts much higher than that. Way too windy for us to do any kind of balloon glow tonight. It was supposed to be a special shapes Glowdeo, and so the balloon activities have been canceled for tonight here at Balloon Fiesta Park. So no Glowdeo tonight, no balloon activities. What we have done is adjusted the schedule here now. We did not have an early afternoon jump by Fast Tracks, our skydiving team, bringing in the flag. It was actually too windy for them to jump as well. But we are hoping that we'll get a break in the winds a little bit later tonight, enough at least to let Fast Tracks drop in with their pyrotechnics show. We're scheduled to do that about 7:15. All the times I'm giving you are mountain time. And so in about 45 minutes, we hope that the Fast Track skydiving team will drop in, and then we'll do our afterglow fireworks. The winds are not high enough to stop the fireworks. We'll do that about an hour from now. If it is too windy for Fast Tracks to drop in, we'll probably move the fireworks up as we move forward with that. But of course, it wouldn't be a Balloon Fiesta and Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil, if we didn't have an update on America's Challenge. And so we're going to spend a few minutes, since we're not doing any other ballooning, to talk about America's Challenge. That, of course, is the gas race that took out of here Monday night, launched out of here. It is a distance race. We had 9 teams launch. They are all now down and safe. And by the way, for Susan, it's not going to be Art and Glenn giving you the update, but I've got Kim Vesley here with me tonight. Kim is not only a member of our Balloon Fiesta Live team, but she is also the media liaison and the media representative for the America's Challenge gas balloon race. So we're going to get all the update here. We're going to be able to spend more than just a couple of minutes on trying to bring you up to speed on all of the flights, or at least many of the flights, and the entire situation about the America's Challenge gas balloon race. So welcome, Kim.
Hi, how you doing?
We're doing fine. The wind's a little cool, but that's all right. We can get through this.
Yeah, I was lamenting not having a hairbrush. I don't think it matters.
No, and you know what? It's kind of fitting that we're talking about America's Challenge now in the wind, because our competitors flew in actually much stronger wind than we're experiencing here on the rooftop studio.
Yeah, one of the things that made this race very exciting, it was kind of delayed a couple of days,
right,
taking off.
Because of weather downrange.
Because of weather downrange. And but what the delay did is it allowed this front that's now coming through Albuquerque to get a little bit closer, and the balloons were able to ride the winds preceding that front up right through the center of the country and up through Minnesota and up into Canada. And it was a relatively, for most of the teams, a relatively short race, because they got up there so fast. They were traveling 30, 40. At one point, I saw 60.
Oh, wow.
At one point on one of the teams.
Every time I checked, it was in the 30s to 40s. And while that's not especially fast for a gas balloon to move along, it's a little bit faster than we normally see for America's Challenge.
So it was. They got a fast ride up to the north, and actually, most of the balloons were down within 36 to 40 hours.
About half of what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and then because the race typically runs, in the, say, 55 to 65 hour range.
Right.
So a lot of them got way up north and landed very quickly, and then there were three holdouts, and then there was one who actually flew 58 hours.
So let's run down the leaderboard. How did they all finish out?
Okay, well, this was a classic race with a classic pattern, which is somebody goes and kind of lags in last place or thereabouts.
Takes a different strategy.
Takes a different strategy, kind of sits back there behind everybody else and just kind of lets the race play out, and then they swoop in at the end and pass the leaders to win. And that's what happened in this race. So our winners are the U.S. Polish entry, Andy Caton of the United States, two-time America's Challenge winner, now apparently three.
Right, and we add that in because all of these results are still unofficial.
That's correct. And his co-pilot is a good friend of ours from Poland, Krzysztof Zapart, who is. This was his fourth America's Challenge, and he had finished second 3 times.
And Andy told you on the night of the launch that he would be the last one to stand up at the inflation point, and he'd be the last one down, and he lived up to his word.
Boy, he was spot on. Andy was.
He also told you, if I remember correctly, and us. And by the way, you can go back and watch the entire launch. The show that we did is archived on YouTube and Facebook. Easiest way to get to it is from balloonfiesta.com. But he also told us that they weren't worried about losing, destroying the balloon. They were going to win this thing, whatever it took.
Well, so far that's about 50% right.
Yes.
They were pretty darn determined, and they, certainly went the furthest distance and won the race. They landed in a very remote area, about 125 miles west of James Bay, in the middle of nowhere. It's in the tundra. It's marshy. It was wet. I mean, the landing was fine. And the pilots are fine. They were tired after 58 hours, but they're fine. But they're in the middle of nowhere, pretty much out there. So they worked with the command center for the race and with their ground support team here in the U.S. Got a helicopter to them and helicoptered the team out to a diamond mine. I'm serious, an open pit diamond mine, which was the nearest accessible point.
And my understanding that that's accessible by basically helicopter. There's no roads to the diamond mine.
So they got them out there, and now they're working on seeing if they can retrieve the balloon. So that's why I'm saying it's only 50%. I think they're still hoping to be able to do something to retrieve the balloon and the equipment, or at least what they didn't bring out with them.
So they'll be working on that, but they are already, I understand, out and away from there on their way back, or at least about to be on their way back.
I haven't heard that for certain, but I'm sure they're anxious to get back. I know they're tired, and but they're really happy,
I imagine so. In fact, Andy recorded a video about the time he went into Canada, and we have managed to snag that video off of his Facebook page.
At this point in the race, there were still 2 balloons up. He was still up, and Team 2, which is the second place team.
Here's the video. Let's listen in.
And let's listen to him.
Stretch out and get some rest. Okay.
We don't hear the audio, do you?
And I think that will do it for now. I'll try to give you a call.
This is the end of it. This is
you
the
may
end
or
of
may
it,
not get it until after we land. There's a whole lot of nothing out here as far as the internet.
This is the end of it.
But anyway,
should be like 3 minutes.
until next time, here's from Team 1, USA,
So
Poland,
We're going to go.
America's Challenge. Okay, let's try this again. We are now into Canada. Have been here for about an hour. As you can see, there is as much water as there is land. And we planned on flying through the night because it's just us and the French team now. And we knew that Team 2, Vincent Lace and Patrick, would be the team to beat, and it's true. Okay, I'm going to walk through the basket with you. We have our sun shield up because it would be very hot in here if not. Okay, See, get down here where you can see our instruments. There's the GPS, Flytech. There's our oxygen system, the famous bucket. Scan over here slowly to the. There's our thermometer, indoor out, satellite phone, standard radio, our aircraft radio, and transponder. Come over here, let you see what it looks like on this side of the basket. Okay. Walk around. Go ahead and pan up to the top, check on the valve. I mean the apex, make sure the balloon looks good, and it does. Coming back down. There's Canada on this side of the basket. Stack of used sandbags. Tubes hanging there. Down here you'll see what's left of Christoph sleeping in for the day, getting some rest for the night. The nights are always long and hard and cold. Canada on that side. Come down here to Christoph and I'll show you how you, there's the kick out where you put your feet outside the basket so that you can stretch out and get some rest. Okay. And I think that will do it for now. I'll try to give you a call. Post this. You may or may not get it until after we land. There's a whole lot of nothing out here as far as the internet. But anyway, until next time, here's from Team 1, USA, Poland, America's Challenge.
What a great video.
That is as good a depiction as I have ever seen of life in a gas balloon. And several things struck me about that. And one is how quiet it is. You didn't
Yes.
hear any noise there except Andy.
Not even the snoring.
Not even snoring. And the other thing was it gives you an idea of just how cramped the geography is in the
Right.
basket. You know, he was probably standing in one place pretty much, just turning around. Shooting that.
And you know, we talked about, before the balloons launched on Monday, we talked about that kick out for their feet to be able to stretch out so that you can actually get that stretch out and get some sort of sleep. So it was great to be able to see that as well from up there. And he didn't mention it, but we saw the drag rope or the trail rope, very heavy rope attached to there. And in another video we're going to show you in a little bit, we're going to see that in action.
Yeah, that's used in the landing process.
Exactly.
And we do have video of one of the teams landing. So.
So, again, what kind of mileage and stuff did we get from Andy and Christoph?
They got 1,600 miles basically. 16.46 is what shows on the tracker. That's probably going to be pretty close to what it actually is,
Sure.
but they have to go through the verification process and everything. And they were up 58 hours, as we mentioned. In second place...
And they have that amount of time because they actually went through third night.
They went. The third night is kind of considered to be the gold standard for being competitive. This year we saw the only team that went through the third night was Andy and Christoph. Yeah, but normally that's kind of what you have to do to win. So that's why their time is so far in excess of everybody else.
All right, second place.
Second place, Eric. And I'm going to mess his name up. I know it. It's
better you than me.
Dusselaer, I believe. And Vincent Lays, they're the French team. Vincent is the 9-time champion of the Gordon Bennett. They were second. They flew 39 hours, flew about Actually, they flew 43 hours. They were up quite a long time too. They flew 43 hours, went 1,327 miles, and after all that landed. At least I think they landed on a road, as far as I'm concerned.
So we have some video right after their landing as well. So that is the French team landing. I forgot what I've titled that video for you guys in the truck, but if we can roll that. We'll give them a second to do that. This video apparently was like moments after they landed. Go ahead and roll it.
Yeah.
Oh là là, quelle expérience! T'as filmé le ballon? Ah oui, oui. Oh, oh. C'est des moments incroyables.
I like the ending of that.
Cheated death again. Yeah.
There we're down. And you're right. The basket might be in the trees, but the envelope itself sure appeared to be a road of some sort to me.
Yeah, this was near a lake, near a kind of a little, like a tourist or a fishing lodge where they landed. And it was pretty close to the last road you could hit before you started getting into the kind of terrain that Andy and Christoph landed in.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fine landing. The crew was actually very close by, got there and retrieved them, and they're on the road back to Albuquerque now.
All right. What about place number 3?
Third place, Benoit Pollard, then Benoit Peterlet from France. 1,216 miles. This is the third team that landed in Canada. And they were up 39 hours even.
Right on the dot. That's interesting.
Landed, snagged the balloon in a tree, which is not particularly unusual. As you just saw Team 2 did too. That's not particularly unusual because of some of the terrain they have to land in. But they're fine. The balloon's fine. They spent most of today retrieving the balloon, and we're hoping that they can make it back on Saturday for what the Europeans call the prize giving, or the awards. So they're we haven't really seen a lot of pictures from them yet. In fourth place are our race rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Duncan and Brenda Cowlishaw from the U.S., from Texas. And
Glen's sentimental favorite.
Glen's sentimental favorites, and they landed. Let's see, how far did they go? 1,091 miles. We're up 34 hours and 44 minutes.
So a very good showing for Brian and Brenda.
Great showing. And then in fifth place, I think we have some pictures from this team, right? This is Noah Forden and Bert Pedelt from the United States. Flew 1,016 miles, 34 hours and 20 minutes, and they landed, all of these teams landed in the northern half of Minnesota.
So this is the Noah Burt video for those of you in the truck here. And this is actually a series of still pictures that we got from the retrieve of the balloon. So we'll see the wide open field that they have. There we are. So there they are rolling up the balloon. There's the open field. And you see the balloon there. Bert's down in the lower left-hand corner walking the crew in.
Oh, that's a great landing site.
Yeah, look at how wide open this
Beautiful.
is. And then you see the balloon all laid out. You see the load ring and the tapes going to it. Here's the crew as they start to fold the balloon in on itself. You pack a gas balloon differently than you do a hot air balloon. You kind of accordioning it in, and then you do what Bert is doing right here. You roll through it across the top of it to get the air out. That's the load ring. That's the what attaches basically the lines from the envelope all the way down to the basket. And then after you've got the air rolled out, you roll it again to make sure that the rest of it comes out. And then it all goes in the bag, and you take a nice big selfie with all your crew. Lots of smiles.
Everybody celebrates.
There you go. And then this one actually a little bit out of order, but a great shot of Bert Pedelt on the left and Noah Fordham on the right. A nice, successful, fun flight for them.
Yeah, the blonde gal that had the load ring, that's Joni Pedelt. That's
good.
Bert's
Uh-huh.
partner in his business. He's in the balloon repair and actually is a master balloon builder.
Yes, he is.
And so Bert and Joni are, spouses and partners in that business.
In case you've just joined us, this is Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. I'm Lloyd Jr., joined tonight by Kim Vesley as we update the America's Challenge gas balloon race, because here on the field, the winds, as you can see by the flags, are about 20 miles an hour, with the wind's expected to stay that speed, as well as more gusts. So our Glowdeo has been canceled for tonight. We are not doing any balloon activities. We're going to do continue to update America's Challenge here, and we're still hoping that the Fast Track Skydive team will be able to drop in about 7:15, and we've moved our fireworks up to 7:30. So we are doing a little bit of an abbreviated show, but on the good news, it gives us the opportunity to spend more time talking about America's Challenge. We're up to fifth place?
Sixth place.
Sixth place.
Yeah, sixth place, and that's Sherry White and Mark Sullivan. Albuquerque's Mark Sullivan flew 1,011 miles in 37 hours 27 minutes. Again, this is a landing in kind of north central Minnesota, and I think we have.
We do. Their crew was actually nearby as they were coming in for a landing. So we've got some video of the crew shot out the window while they were driving their truck along. And as this rolls, we'll be able to hear the crew in the background, but we're going to see sand drop, and then you're going to see this kind of a big brown thing kind of like fall out of the balloon. And the crew even calls it, that says, that's the trail rope, or the drop rope, trail rope dropping there. And we'll be able to see what it looks like to land a gas balloon at 30 miles an hour. So if we can roll the Sherry and Mark video.
There goes the trail rope. All right, we'll haul us out there. See if we can get up to the farm up here.
So the video I'm seeing on the monitor has broken up, and that's not what. We're going to attempt to reload that video here, because it's actually a very nice video of that coming in. We're going to let it reload in there for just a moment. But the idea, we'll see that balloon come down, hit, and drag a little bit, and then all of a sudden all the gas goes out the top as they pull the deflation port, and over it goes. We'll re-rack that and get that back for you in just a moment.
One of the things that you'll see too when you see this, as the balloon is coming in, you'll actually see it's flaccid.
Right, that was the other thing I was going to point out.
It's flaccid because a lot of the hydrogen has been dispensed. It's either kind of leaked out in the course of the flight or has been valved off, and you actually see the front side of the balloon dish in a little bit in the wind as they're coming down. And the other thing I would mention is a gas balloon landing at 30 miles an hour is not. It's fast, and you don't want to land that fast, but it's not quite the same thing as landing a hot air balloon that
Right.
fast. Routinely, gas balloons land in double-digit winds because that's usually what you have at the end of one of these flights.
Well, and hot air balloons, and we've seen this as we talked yesterday on Balloon Fiesta Live about when you trying to get the hot air out off the top there, you end up with this bubble of air in there, and so the balloon stays with some air in it, which in the high wind is going to continue to drag. When you open up the top or the deflation port on a gas balloon, that hydrogen, being so much lighter than the surrounding atmosphere, finds its way out, and the balloon totally empties out, and therefore it doesn't become that drag.
Yeah, it's much quicker.
So let's move on, so that if we get the Sherry video back, we'll come back to that. So following Sherry and Mark in the lineup,
Barbara Fricke and Peter Cuneo, USA Team 5, and Barbara was kind of lamenting that they didn't get 1,000 miles. I basically told her that 992 miles is 1,000 miles,
that kind of
for all
works.
practical purposes. And they were up 34 hours and 35 minutes. They all landed kind of in variations of this same area up in Minnesota, and you got some pictures back from them, right?
We did get some pictures, and actually this morning on Balloon Fiesta Live, Peter gave us a call and kind of talked us through what had happened. They're already on the drive back. They'll be back either very early in the morning or they'll stop for the night and come in more mid-morning or mid-afternoon. But I think we have the video of the Peter and Barbara video with audio. Thank you for calling in. We're live on Balloon Fiesta Live. Peter Cuneo along with Barbara Fricke. Team 5, number 5 in the America's Challenge race. You are landed and driving back, is that what I understand?
That is correct. And we also have Sue and Ray Palmer, who chased us all the way up to Minnesota in the truck at this time.
Well, great. So how was the flight?
It was actually pretty reasonable. Not any weather situations. We did have some minor thermal activity second afternoon.
And how was the landing?
Landing was at about 10 knots. We did it very early in the morning. We probably gave up about 2 places in the race because we were about 10 miles behind one team and 20 miles behind another team. But we thought it was more important to have a safe landing with an easy retrieve. We actually landed in a farmer's soybean fields, and he was nice enough to bring his humongous combine out and cut a swath through the soybeans right to our basket, and we just drove the truck in behind him. His name was Myron Bishman, and he says he's related to a balloonist who sometimes comes to Albuquerque, whose name is Gary Bishman. So I believe that Gary Bishman name is familiar to me, and if so, your relative Myron Bishman says hello.
Well, that's great. Good to be able to hear that. So we have your track up here. So you had a pretty nice landing. We heard that one of the other teams landed about 30 miles an hour. And of course, I don't know if you've probably been watching, Andy Caton is up there by the Hudson Bay now, looking for a landing site.
That man is amazing. He's down low and he's going really slow, and I hope he's going to have a friendly polar bear to meet him up there, because he is headed for an area called Polar Bear Provincial Park, and I'm going to give you 3 guesses what the most popular animal at Polar Bear Provincial Park is.
And it's probably not Provincial Park, so it's got to be polar bear.
I'm guessing it's not aardvarks either.
There you go. So where are you on the way back? Where are you about?
We had a really nice, by the way, we landed in Princeton, but it wasn't Princeton, New Jersey, it was Princeton, Minnesota. We are heading south from Minneapolis to Kansas City. We're about 185 miles from Kansas City, according to our GPS. We're in clouds, but not rain. It rained overnight. We're expecting to get some rain on the road, and we're probably not going to do this all in one day, because according to our GPS, if we drove straight through with no stops, we would be in Albuquerque at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that doesn't sound so good to us. So we'll make probably a stop somewhere along the road on the way back.
Sounds like a great plan. Well, you guys, thanks for calling in. Hi to Barbara, Ray, and Sue. You guys drive safe. Glad that you had a wonderful flight with a safe landing. We'll chat with you when you get back here in Albuquerque.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Again, that phone call recorded earlier on our morning show
Yeah.
of Balloon Fiesta Live.
Yeah, I talked to Peter and Barbara at some length as well, and Barbara said they had a great flight, and they talked about flying over one of the cities. I want to say.
I thought they were going to go over Minneapolis like at rush hour. I
Yeah.
remember hearing that report during the flight.
Yeah, well, they did kind of go a little bit west of Minneapolis to get out of it's Class B airspace.
Mhm.
So they kind of had to maneuver around that Class B out there.
Which basically means you're under the control of the tower
yeah,
there and
sure.
all the air traffic controllers there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you can't really maneuver in a balloon like that, but in Class B airspace, they really want you to be able to do that.
Yeah, and they were able to kind of get around and underneath the edge of that airspace. So.
All right, who's up next on our list?
Okay, who's up next on our list? Oops, I just closed it, didn't I? From Austria, Christian Wagner and Thomas Lewis. From Austria. They sent back a lot of great pictures through the flight, and we actually put together a YouTube video that has a lot of those that I don't know that we're going to show tonight, but but we do have that on our Balloon Fiesta YouTube channel if people want to look at that.
In fact, there's an entire America's Challenge playlist.
There is.
On the Balloon Fiesta YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch all of the video updates that Kim has put together, and after this show we'll attach this show to that playlist as we did the entire launch. So if you wanted to zero in just on that, you're able to do that as well.
But they went about 900 miles. They were up 28 hours 37 minutes, and then finally we have Al Nels and Andy Baird from the USA that they landed relatively early. It was their first race, you know.
Yes.
And they were up 24 hours.
That's a good flight.
Very good flight, 25-hour flight, 900, no, I'm reading kilometers, because we score the race. The race is scored in kilometers.
Right.
So we keep track of it both in miles and kilometers. They went 580 miles, which is very respectable.
And you saw during the Peter interview, you saw the track the animation of the track there. They were the ones that kind of stopped first, obviously, and the rest of them went on. It also, to me, was very interesting that even though Andy Caton, who ended up winning this race, took a little bit different track, he really wasn't that far away from the pack as they went through the race.
Yeah, the first night they went way around in the north.
They did.
But
then kind of caught up to the back of the pack and won for probably, I would guess, 20-some hours. The whole pack was just moving together there.
And one of the things I think they were trying to do, they went out of here quite slowly and didn't want to really, I think we're trying to save ballast throughout the race, which ballast being sand.
And fuel, I mean, that's your fuel for the race.
Sand equals time.
That's right. So when you save it on the first night, you have it for a third night.
Yes,
which is what exactly happened.
And I think they were trying to be very careful to conserve ballast and just kind of hang back there and kind of lurk in the background and watch how the race developed and hope that it would develop in such a way that they could come from behind and win, and that's exactly what happened.
So what happens now? Obviously, we've heard that most of the teams, if not all of them, are on their way back. There may be some recovery of a balloon for Team 1 that still has to be worked out and taken care of, but I understand that's in the works as well. What happens now? Everybody's done. They're back here. We've got unofficial scores. What's up next?
Yeah, well, there's two things that are happening. One is the scoring process. Jim Bird, who's the scoring officer, is in the process of debriefing all of the teams and asking them questions that are related to their flight and related to items in the rules, in the competition rules. He will also then analyze all of the tracker data. And from that, he will verify the scoring, and then sometime on Saturday, will issue the official results of the race. There's also the opportunity for protest. So the pilots get provisional results, and then if they feel that there has been an error in the scoring for some reason, they can take that to the event director, Sam Parks, and then Sam convenes the jury. There's three gas balloon pilots who are the jury that are not in the race, and they adjudicate that should there be anything like that. So that's that process, and then after that, everybody gets together and has a big party and hands out trophies and celebrates.
Well,
So-
hands out trophies that's really all they get for placing first, second, or third in this race.
Yeah, people ask all the time, well, gee, what do they get if they win? And basically that's what they get.
They're very nice trophies.
Yeah, they're very nice. They're very heavy leaded glass. They're made in Europe, and I want to say about a foot tall, maybe even a little more than that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And of course,
beautiful
each pilot
trophies.
on the team gets one.
Yeah.
So in the case of couples, now they've got two for placing whatever place they did. And when
Bookends.
Yeah, that's it. And that banquet is Saturday night.
It's Saturday night.
And you'll be there emceeing that for them as well. And some of them that, like Sherry and Mark and Barbara and Peter, will be back and maybe flying hot air again, maybe tomorrow or Saturday morning before they get onto that, depending on how they feel, whether they're rested up, whether they actually get back, and all those things as well.
Yeah, well, Barbara told me they're planning on flying Saturday morning, so.
Well, there you go.
So
there you go. Let's run down the list one more time, and we'll get ready to wrap this up.
Okay, and this will be the Reader's Digest condensed
There you
version
go.
of the list.
There you go.
First place, Andy Caton of the United States and Krzysztof Zaparch from Poland, Team 1, 1,616 miles. And second, Eric Dusselier and Vincent Lays from France, Team 2, 1,327 miles. In Team 3, Benoit Pollard and Benoit Peterlet from France. That was Team 7 for those looking at the tracking, 1,216, almost 1,217 miles. In fourth place, Brian Duncan and Brenda Kalashaw from the U.S., 1,091.98, let's call it 1,092 miles. And then we have Noah Forden and Bert Padel to the USA, Team 4 in fifth place, 1,016 miles on that. Sixth place, Sherry White and Mark Sullivan, 1,012 miles. Seventh place, Barbara Fricke and Peter Cuneo, 992 miles. In eighth place, Christian Wagner and Thomas Lewis of Austria, 899 miles. I call it 900 because it's actually 0.6, so 900 miles. And finally, Al Nels and Andy Baird, 580 miles. So we had a really good and really safe race, and we're really pleased to see all of the pilots. We've heard that they've had great flights and a lot of fun, and we look forward to doing this again next year.
And of course, we were just looking at the tracking map, which you can get from balloonfiesta.com. Click on Balloons and America's Challenge. If you have a mobile device, if you haven't already downloaded the YB Races app, you can download that and select the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and you'll see the race there. One of the cool things I like about what we see on that tracking map is there's a slider along the bottom. So you can back that slider all the way to the left, which is the start of the race, and then you could just kind of do the same animation we showed you, just slide that slider across and see where it goes. And of course, by clicking on any of the teams, either on the map or on the teams or the leaderboard list, see all the details about the team as well.
The other thing you can see too, if you click on an individual balloon and you're on the website, this works on the website, not on the app, it'll actually pull up a profile of their altitude.
Oh, right. Yes, it does.
And so you can kind of
we
see.
We can see it on the green
on
the bottom.
There you
down
go,
there.
right down there at the bottom. And that's Team 2's track. And then, of course, you can see they came down and landed and actually came down quite quickly. Which is also fairly normal in a gas balloon flight.
We just had up there a second ago a second team, so you can kind of compare two teams with each other. There you go. So
yeah.
Team 2 and I can't.
Yeah, it's Team 2 and Team 1.
Yeah.
And so you can see
how much farther they went, and longer actually.
Yeah, I was going to say in terms of duration, how much longer they were up.
So, Kim Vesley, thank you very much for giving us this great update on America's Challenge and all the videos and all the updates here. And we're going to let you get out of the wind while we wrap this thing up here tonight.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you. Bundle up, okay?
Well, yeah. So, thanks again.
Thank
you. So,
you.
the idea here is we are here at Balloon Fiesta Park. This is supposed to be a Special Shapes Glowdeo night. And it's windy. It's just flat out, it's windy. The winds are at least 20 miles an hour, gusting higher than that. And Balloon Glows, especially with special shapes, like wind more like about 5 miles an hour. So we have canceled our balloon activities tonight. Although I hear the plane above us of Fast Tracks. In fact, there is a shot from inside. You see they are lit up and getting ready to jump. They continue to monitor the wind speeds on the ground here. Sam Deeds, their operational specialist, is monitoring there. I'm listening to the radio as well. I believe what they told me before is that we're kind of on the edge here, and so depending what the wind speeds are when we hit the 7:15 mark, that will be that's going to be kind of the final decision. So that's going to be in about 5 minutes, and then soon as they bring their pyrotechnic jump down, and if you've not seen that, you definitely want to stick around for that. And we're going to watch that, and shortly after that we'll have our fireworks, our afterglow fireworks, so that we can finish up the night here. This cold front that is coming through that is bringing this wind is just going to make it cold in the morning. The winds everyone expects to calm down overnight, and we're looking for a very nice Friday morning Special Shapes Rodeo to take place here on Balloon Fiesta Park in the morning. So at the moment we're kind of just waiting for final confirmation from Fast Tracks. We see the wind blow our camera around there. Actually, you can see all the flags. You can see how windy that is. But after this storm gets through tonight, we're expecting everything to be good for the rest of the weekend for our Special Shapes Rodeo in the morning. And by the way, in addition to the Special Shapes in the morning, our regular shaped balloons will be participating in the ring toss and other competition. Competition this morning was canceled because the winds above the ground were too fast. The winds on the ground were very nice for a static display. And so we've had Monday and Tuesday of competition. Tomorrow makes day 3, and the scores tomorrow added to Monday and Tuesdays will determine our overall champion here at Balloon Fiesta Park. But if you've been to Balloon Fiesta or heard about Balloon Fiesta, you may remember the old key grab competition. That has evolved over the last few years into a ring toss. So now pilots will have about a 12-inch ring. They're going to fly in, and instead of grabbing keys off the top, they're going to ring the pole. And we put some nice cash on those poles. If you're the only one that rings the pole, you get all the cash that belongs to that pole. If there are more than one, you get to split the money that happens to be on the pole as well.
See you back at the barn. Appreciate it. Yep, see you in a bit.
Alrighty, I'm going to get confirmation there, but I thought I just heard the
2000 we were showing
stand by here as I'm listening to what they're
330 at about 25, and at altitude we're showing 210 at about
So I'm getting the wind readings that they're having the conversations back and forth between ground and plane. A lot of it. Let's find out. Let's just do it right here live. Announced to Fast Track Ground. What's the status? He might have shut his radio off. But I heard something about see you back at the barn.
I heard that.
You heard the see you back at the barn. They don't usually say that till they've so let's find out a different way here. Someone was asking where Glen is tonight. We knew that we were going to have an abbreviated show, so and that we would be talking about America's Challenge with Kim. So we told Glen he could stay out of the wind and stay warm. And so he is not with us tonight, knowing that we were going to have a abbreviated show. I'm going to check here real quick with our ground guys and see what the plane. I still hear the plane up there, though.
I do.
So we'll have something from Fast Tracks here momentarily, hopefully. And the other thing is, since they did not do their earlier jump, that means they owe us one. So we'll be scheduling a jump probably either tomorrow morning or Saturday morning, or we'll be adding a jump in the morning one of these days, most likely, to make up for the jump that they missed tonight. But again, the wind's too high tonight for balloon activities. So we are hanging on for the jump from Fast Tracks if that's going to happen, but it's I think it's still might be too windy for that. Probably, actually, the worst part of it is the gusts. I've talked to a number of parachute teams that they say, we can jump in pretty high winds, 20, 25 miles an hour, but it's the gusts that cause the difficulty when coming in. You're coming in about to hit the ground, and all of a sudden a gust comes up and drags you into something else. Now I don't hear the plane anymore, and so and I'm not getting response. And we don't. They're going the other way. So I'm going to use my executive producer, executive knowledge here, and I'm going to say that they have called off their jump tonight due to the high winds here. So that means we'll be able to get the fireworks underway in just a few minutes. The word will go out now that we have canceled or apparently canceled our sky diver jump by Fast Tracks. And we'll be here with our fireworks. We're going to stay on. I'm going to stop talking, but I'm going to let you watch the fireworks. Remember that we are on the air every morning at 0600 Mountain Time. That would be 1200. No, yes, 1200 Zulu, noon, Zulu, Greenwich Mean, UTC, and you can do the rest of the time zone, the conversions. Our evening shows come on at 6:30 Mountain Time, so that's about 0:30 in the morning for those of you at UTC. And we continue to do these shows. We do repeat these shows on our local Balloon Fiesta TV channel 28. If you are within a couple miles of the park, you can tune your TV to channel 28, and you'll be able to watch 24/7 Balloon Fiesta TV with lots of great information and a repeat of these shows. If you're not within a few miles, you get to go to balloonfiesta.com, select this year and Balloon Fiesta Live, and you'll be able to go back and watch all of the shows, not only from this year, but also from last year and the previous year. You'll be able to see all the improvements that I think we've made over the last couple of years as well. So with that, Glenn and I will be here at 6 o'clock in the morning for our Special Shapes Rodeo. Again, tomorrow night at 6:30 for our Special Shapes Glowdeo. We've got a Mass Ascension Saturday morning, a Balloon Glow Saturday night, and a Farewell Mass Ascension on Sunday morning. So for Kim Vesley, who's joined me with our America's Challenge updates, and all of our production folks, I'm Art Lloyd Jr. Stay tuned for the fireworks. We'll see you in the morning.
You've been watching Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO Energy, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. Always in October and always in Albuquerque, the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta is the world's premier ballooning event. This program is a production of AIBF Inc., all rights reserved. Thanks for watching Balloon Fiesta Live.